Thanks.
Huh. All right.
Yeah, it's Alan.
Okay. Yeah. So Rudy said he'll join us soon.
Okay, I need a good page because I wasn't here last.
144.
144.
All right, I'm on my way.
Welcome to the Garden of the Spirit, a class studying apples from the orchard for the second time, starting in 2014. This class meets in Longmeadow, Massachusetts, the true center of the universe, and is held in memory of Malka Ruth Bas Moshe, Margaret Vogel of blessed memory. Apples from the Orchard contains selections of teachings of Kabbalah from the Arizal, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, based on the weekly Torah portion, superbly translated and explained by Rabbi Moshe Wisniewski. Okay, so yes, 140, we're up to 144, the third chapter on Toldot. Please, here we are. Okay, and move this to the bottom. All right. So the very first time that I spoke about this to Guillermo, about anything here, way before I even knew what the book was, maybe it was 10 years ago, Guillermo, and I told him some, and he was like, I told him some numbers, looked at me and said, sounds contrived. I thought that was an excellent word. Do you remember that?
Sounds like me, yeah.
So we've been learning this for many years, and we're familiar with not only the ideas, we're familiar with the style. But I have to say, a chapter like today seems very contrived.
Okay.
I always say it's like when in the olden days, when they used to have the tolls, I think it was 35 cents on the Connecticut Turnpike, and they had them real close, like every 10 miles. This on 95, the section between New Haven and the New York border, they had 4 places where you had 4 toll booths. You had to stop and throw coins into the basket. And sometimes you didn't have change, and you start fishing around the ashtray, and you look under the seat, and you'd open your door and look on the floor where people miss. You're trying to come up with 35 cents.
35. I remember a quarter.
You remember a quarter?
Remember a quarter. So do you, Jim, right?
Yeah, quarter.
Quarter.
Yeah. So that was the pits. I was so happy when they took them away. Our prayers were answered. We say in the Shemona Esrei, Morid HaTol, and sure enough, they took down the toll. So anyway, so a lot of the numbers here are going to be very stretched, and just like fishing under the seat for a nickel or a dime, and checking the ashtray and so on, and opening your car door and looking on the floor. That's what we're going to, that's what it's going to be like. But you have to remember that the numbers only reinforce an idea that's already there. So whether the numbers add up and the numbers don't add up, the ideas are there already. And the numbers are only there is the way that it shows itself, that it's manifest. Okay, so here we go. Yitzchak's servants or workers dug 4 wells. Did I speak last week about digging wells?
We talked about the wells that were filled. You were not digging them. It's that they had
yes,
redigging them. Yes.
Okay. So Yitzchak's servants dug 4 wells. The first, named Asek, which means contend, corresponds to the name of Hashem 72. The second, named Sitna, which means adversarial, corresponds to the name of Hashem 63. The third, named Rehovot, which means broad, was uncontested by the shepherds of Gerar. The fourth, named Shiva, which means oath, was the reason the place was called Be'er Sheva. The Torah says Yitzchak's servants found a well of living water. This will be connected to the name of Hashem 45. Give me a second. So the general idea of a well of living water is for the name 45. First two wells correspond to 72 and 63. Okay, now I'm thinking about this. What he doesn't say here is that Yitzhak, first of all, these three numbers, 72, 63, and 45, correspond to the first three letters of Hashem's name, the Yud and the Hey and the Vav. And what's missing is the final Hey, which corresponds to 52, which is a category of its own. That's Malchus, Nukva. Secondly, what's going on here is that Yitzhak, the big picture, Yitzhak is trying to bring the divine energy into the world. He's trying to merge, as we said last week, Ze'er Anpin and Nukva, and get them to unionize, to interact, to mate. And through that, the divine energy will flow solidly into the world. Apparently, the people who are blocking the wells or fighting over them are the ones who are trying to prevent the divine energy from coming into the world. They're trying to prevent godliness from being revealed. So therefore, they fight over it. Literally, they contend and they adversarialize regarding the wells. And that is the big picture. So what we're learning here about the wells and the significance of the wells, it's not mentioned here, but most probably the idea is that this is what Yitzhak is trying to plug into, and that the worker and that the other people, the Plishtim, people
I'm here, I'm listening. I'm at the table.
and the people like Gerar, that they're trying to stop. So, okay, so please begin. Alan, why don't you begin 144, chapter 3.
Yitzhak's servants then dug in the valley and found there a well of fresh spring water. The shepherds of Gerar quarreled with Yitzhak's shepherds, saying, "The water is ours." Yitzhak named the well Esek, contention, because they had contended with him. They dug another well, and they quarreled over that one, too. So Yitzhak named it Sitna, harassment. He moved from there and dug another well, and they did not quarrel over it, so he named it Rechava, open spaces, saying, "For now Hashem has granted us ample space, and we shall be fruitful in the land." From there he went up to Beersheba. Yitzchak's servants came and told him about the well they had been digging, and they said to him, "We have found water." He named it Shiva, oath.
Okay, you could continue.
The following passage is truncated and appears to be not finally edited. Its main purpose appears to be to establish the associations between Yitzchak's wells and the spellings out of the name Havaya. Only the first two wells are mentioned in this passage, and the phrase "a well of fresh spring water" that precedes and describes the first well, Esek. The correspondences that will be made are as follows: Esek, 72 name; Sitna, 63 name; a well of fresh spring water, 45 name.
Okay, thanks. So we will come across a few times here, more than once, where he's when he says we don't understand what it says, we don't understand the connection. So I am giving you a warning that we will come across that. You know, like 83 equals 24. You know, something like that. So we are going to come across a few of those. And that's why it says it appears that it's not fully edited or finally edited.
Okay.
Hashem's name of 72 is spelled Yud K Vav K. So when we talk about, names of Hashem that are 72, 63, or 45 in this case, or 52, we're talking about expanding the letters so that we write the name of each letter. So Yud, instead of just the letter Yud, it becomes the name of the letter Yud, Yud Vav Daled. For the other remaining letters, there are different ways to spell them. They're all legitimate. For Hey is Hey, for the 72 name and the 63 name, we do Hey is Hey Yud. For the name of 72, Vav is Vav Yud Vav, pronounced Vav. And for the, and then the last Hey is Hey Yud. So that equals 72. Each of the four letters has the letter Yud in its name. So if the Yud starts with Yud, the Hey ends with Yud, and Vav has a Yud in the middle. Altogether, there are 10 letters. Remove the four Yuds, and we have 32, because 72 minus 40, Yud is 10. 72 minus the four Yuds, minus 40, we're left with 32. Then add 10, that's numbers. Now add 10 for the 10 letters of secondary spelling, and add 28 for the 28 letters in tertiary spelling. Okay, that means that tertiary spelling, if we go one step further and spell each of these 10 letters. So then we'll have Yud and then Vav and Dalet, each one spelled out and so on. Add, so now we have 32 plus 10 for the 10 letters plus 28 equals 70. 70 is Ayin. Ayin is the first letter in the name Asek. Asek. So as I said, Asek is connected with the name of 72. It's connected whether numbers work out or don't work out. Here they're going to show how they could work out. And as we've mentioned before, it appears very contrived with a lot of stretches and a lot of squeezing. So 70, this gives us 70 for the Ayin, the first letter in the name Asek. Okay, Alan, go ahead.
The mystical significance of the wells is as follows. The first state of Chesed is Keser, and it was manifest as the well that was named Asek. This state of Chesed is associated with the 72 name, which possesses four Yuds, whose combined numerical value, when each Yud is subdivided into another Yud, is 400. The reference to the states of Chesed is not developed in this passage. The numerical value of Yud is 10, so 4 times 10 times 10 is 400. When
Okay. Go ahead.
When the value of the four Yuds are subtracted from the 72 name, the difference is 32. When this value is combined with 28, the number of letters used in the spelling out of the 72 name, and 10 for the 10 letters used to spell out the name, the sum is 70. This is the numerical value of the letter Ayin, the first letter of the name Asek. As seen in the following chart, 28 letters are used in the second spelling out of the 72 name.
So in the column on the left, we have
Yeah,
Yud and then Hey and then Vav and then Hey, the four letters of Hashem's name, the primary letters. In the middle column,
Yud, which is Yud Vav Daled.
we have the secondary, the expanded spelling, the secondary spelling. Yud is Yud Vav Daled, Hey is Hey Yud, Vav is Vav Yud Vav, and Hey is Hey Yud. And that gives us 72. But in the column on the right, that is the tertiary spelling. So we are going to spell the Yud, Yud Vav Daled, and the Vav, Vav Yud Vav, and the Daled, Daled Lamed Tav, and so on for all the letters. And there are 28 letters there. Yeah, and some of this is going to seem, guys, like another example is like, cutting an apple in half. You put the first half in one glass, you put the second half in another glass, and you put the third half in the last glass.
Oh, third half.
So yeah, some of it, we're going to have that kind of thing too here. Number 3. So we've removed 4 Yuds. 3 belong to the Miloi, expanded spelling, and 1 Yud is a primary letter. Each Yud is worth 10, with 10 subdivisions, which is 100. The 3 in secondary spelling are 300 or shin, and the one that's a primary letter is 100, the kuf. We now have the 3 letters of ASEC. So the ayin we spoke about before. If you remember how we got to 70. And then we subtracted the 40 from the 72 and then added 28 and added 10. I think that then we got 70. So now the 4 yuds will give us the 3 that are secondary spelling, give us the shin, and the one that's the primary letter gives us the kuf. And each of the yuds then is worth 100. Okay, go ahead, Alan.
Since there are 3 yuds used to spell out this name once, they combine together to produce an expanded numerical value of 300, the value of the letter shin. The yud that is part of the original name produces an expanded numerical value of 100, the value of the letter kuf. Thus we have the complete name of ASEC, which is ayin shin kuf. We now proceed to another derivation of the name ASEC.
Okay, so that's one way. Once you stretch and squeeze this much, there are a lot of ways to do it. 5.
We should be surprised.
There is yet a third. Wait, second or third? Should be second.
Second.
Unless I skipped the other one. Hold on, did I miss one?
Oh,
4. A second way ASEC matches the name of 72. If each yud is 100 instead of 10, that gives us 400. Add that to the name of 72 is 472. Subtract the kolel of 400 and the kolel of 72, and that leaves us with 470. Okay, so subtract 2 kolels, we get 470. Subtract the kolel of 400. And that gives us.
yeah, the second. You had that second sentence.
Well, hold on, let's do this again. Okay, so if each yud is 100, then that gives us 400. Add that to the name 72 by itself, 472. Subtract 2 kolels, and we get 470, the same of ASEC. The same as ASEC. Did I write 470 before also?
No, we're good. No, you didn't write. We didn't have 470 before.
Okay, we did. It just didn't come out like that. All right. So go ahead, Alan. Read the next.
Number 4 has 470. Yes, for ASEC. Yes.
3 should have it. 3 could have it too, but it's okay.
If we take these 4 yuds together with the 72 name itself and subtract the 2 kolels, we have ASEC a second time. 400 plus 70 minus 2 is 470, because ASEC is ayin shin kuf. 70 plus 300 plus 100, 470. And
All
now,
right.
And now a third derivation.
And now a third way. Okay, 5. There's yet a third significance of the name of the well, ASEC. The gematria of Habe'er, the well, is the same as Yitzchak 208. Okay, so Yitzchak's 208 and Habe'er, the well. There are 10 names Havaya in Yitzchak for this 5 states of Chesed and 5 states of Gevura. Just a second, everybody. We had this, I think we had it before, that Yitzchak 208 is 26 times 8. So we're not talking about numbers here. No. Yeah, 26 times 8
Yes,
is
208.
208.
Yes.
We're not talking about numbers. We're just talking about Yitzchak having 5 states of Chesed, 5 states of Gevura, therefore 10 names of Havaya. The total gematria of the 10 names is 260. 26 times 10. 260 and 208 is 468. So Yitzchak plus the 10 names Havaya within him gives us 468. Add 2 for the kolels, we have 470. Same as ASEC, the name of the well. Once again, I like to point out that close doesn't count, except in horseshoes, hand grenades, and gematria. Okay, Jim, are you ready?
Sure.
They're adding the two kolos they took away in the first place, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Finally, the numerical value for the word for the well, Habaer, 208, is the same as that of the name Yitzchak. And in Yitzchak, there are 10 names Havaya, that is 5 states of Chesed and 5 states of Gevurah. Their combined numerical value is 260. When this is added to the value of Yitzchak, plus the 2 kollels, the sum is again the numerical value of ASIC. Habe'er, Hey, Beit, Aleph, Resh, 5 plus 2 plus 1 plus 200 is 208. Yitzchak. So it's Yud, Tzaddik, Chet, Kuf, 10 plus 90 plus 8 plus 10, also 208. 5 states of Chesed and Gevurah within Ima are manifest as names Havaya. 26 times 10, 260. 26, 260. 260 plus 208 plus 2 equals 470.
Okay, thank you. Number 6. When it says they contended with him, it says with him, meaning that they added the gematria of Yitzchak to get to 470. I guess they added the gematria of Yitzchak with the 10 times Havaya, 10 times 26. But that's the idea of with him. Okay, go ahead.
This is the mystical meaning of the verse, for they contended with him, meaning that together with him, they formed the word ASIC. The form for they contended is itasku, meaning they participated in a ASIC, which is a contention.
Like in English, when you said they contended with him, it could mean that they were on the same side, arguing against somebody else. So it can have that meaning also. Okay, thanks. 7. When Moshe asked to see Hashem's front, Hashem answered, "There is a place with me." And that word is et. This is not et phone home. This is the Hebrew word et, Hashem said. Place with me. Et with me starts with Aleph. Aleph, everyone knows, is 1. But it can also be 1,000. The word Aleph is 1,000. And like when we count into the thousands and we just use letters, they'll just use an Aleph to mean an Aleph with an apostrophe to be 1,000. If you ever notice, we have the year now is Tafshin Pei Aleph, which is 781. If you want to say 5,781, then we don't write out 5,000. We just put the letter Hey in front. Hey with an apostrophe. So we know that that's its own count. It's 5, meaning 5,000, and then 781. So the Aleph could be is 1,000. Again, the Hebrew word Aleph is 1,000. So the other letters are Taf Yud is 410. So et, Hashem said, "There's a place with me," would give us 1,000. Could be 1,410, which is 3 times 470. Okay, and 470 we said is ASEC, is the name of the well. Okay, you can read Jim.
Hashem
3
was
times the
something else. Through the use of the word et, Yud, the last letter, signifies Yud K above K. Aleph and Taf are the letters of the complete letters of the alphabet, of which he used to create the universe. And with that one word, he's expressing his eternity.
Yes.
When Moshe asks,
That is correct too.
he's showing his eternity. He's showing that he's an eternal being. Anyways,
Cross, they're not only eternal in time, but with me, that there's an eternity within space as well.
mhm. All encompassing.
The entire world is with me.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Okay, Jim, this is
Well, let me finish. 3 times the value of ASIC is 1,410. 470 times 3 is 1,410. This is the mystical meaning of what God said to Moses. Behold, there's a place with me, ET, meaning at the end of the 1,410, which is the root of Moses. This verse is spoken by God to Moses when he's on Mount Sinai. The word ET is spelled Aleph, Tov, Yud. Since the word Aleph means 1,000, this can be interpreted as 1,000 plus 400 plus 10, 1,410. The allusion to Moses might be based on the passage in the Midrash in which it is stated that Moses came into the world at the end of 1,000 generations, just as the Torah was given after 1,000 generations, meaning that God found no one suited as Moses to receive the Torah. This does not explain the extra 410 or how that is related to the root of Moses.
okay. I don't know what that means. More than 1,000. I don't know what the connection is to the well. It says the well is 470. Name is Asek, sets for 470. It's connected with the name of 72. And we find with Moshe that Hashem said, you stay here with me, and that's 3 times the well. What the connection is,
Chesed. Chesed.
what Chesed?
That the well symbolizes Chesed, which is also Yud Kei Vav Kei. What I find fascinating is that both Avram and Yitzchak dug wells, but Yaakov didn't. And that's a different discussion.
I don't know why he brings it in here with Moshe. I mean, I see the number matches, but what does that have to do with the idea of Yitzchak digging the well and the contention?
It's all a metaphor.
Unless Yitzchak is pulling for Moshe, Moshe is pulling for Yitzchak. I don't know.
It's all a metaphor.
All right. Okay. So let's go ahead to number 8. The next line in the Arizal is not clear. We have a few things here that won't be clear. And then what he gives here is a suggestion. The name Havaya of 72 has 4 yuds, as we said before. Each of these yuds can be seen as 100. If you add 10 for the yud in primary spelling, you have 410. There are 10 letters in expanded spelling. Each one can be 100 for a total of 1,000. Together we have 1,410. So this would be another way that the name of 72 matches up with the well named Asik. Okay, go ahead, Jim, bottom of 147.
If we consider the Yud, apart from the 4 letters of the name Havaya, the sum is 410. Presumably, this means we are to consider how each of the 4 Yuds used to spell the 72 name is subdivided into 10 sub-aspects corresponding to the 10 Sifirot. This gives 4 times 10 times 10 equals 400. On top of this, we consider the original Yud of the name Havaya separately. Okay, whose numerical value is 10, then you get 410. This totals 410.
And this is real double dipping.
Yeah.
It's like paying taxes on stock dividends.
Yeah.
All right, you pay twice. Okay, 9. The primary letters. I have to see what this matches up to. The, hold on. Okay, the primary letters of Hashem's name equals 26. The name of a 72 gets its number from the total of its expanded secondary spelling. The total of the tertiary spelling is 610. If we add those three together, 72 for the, I'm sorry, those two together, 72 for the secondary spelling and 610 for the tertiary spelling, like we showed on the chart on 146. And that gives us 682. And if we double that, we get to 1364. Okay, Jim, continue.
Okay, thus if we consider how the 10 letters used to spell out the 72 name are each divided into another yud, the result is 1,000. So each of the 10 letters subdivides into 100 subdivisions and 1,000 subdivisions. Together, the sum of these two operations is 1,410. This is alluded to in the verse, "Behold, there is a place with me," as stated.
Go ahead.
Furthermore, the numerical value of the spelling out of the 72 name is 610. The numerical value of the name itself is 72. If the sum of these two numbers is doubled, the product is 1,364. 2 times 610 plus 72 equals 1,364.
So again, 672 is the secondary spelling, 610 is the tertiary spelling.
Right.
Okay. Next, number 10 over here. The 4 letters of the primary spelling, 10 letters of the secondary spelling. Now we're talking about how many letters are used. 4 letters are used in primary spelling, 10 letters in secondary spelling, 28 letters of tertiary spelling make a total of 42 letters. Add a kollel for each spelling, which is 3, and 1 kollel for all of them together, and that gives us 46. And this corresponds to the name Adni, whose total is 65. It's not clear how this adds up. It's not clear what's the point. Again, as you mentioned in the beginning, it seems that this whole thing is not finally, was not edited and finished when it was written. I was looking to see if there's another way that Avni equals 46, or if there's a place to find the 19 to add to the 46. I didn't think of anything. Okay, Gershon, are you ready?
Where are we? Here are we.
Then consider in the middle of 148.
Then, if we consider how the 10 letters used to spell out the 72 name are each divided into another yud, the result is
Hold on a
1,000.
second.
Wait.
Where are you?
148.
148.
Yes. Then where?
Then
Then
consider.
consider.
Minus. Oh, the middle.
Middle.
All right. Yeah, I felt.
Not then if we consider, just then
Yeah.
consider.
Then
Yeah.
consider the spelling out of the 72 name, which uses 10 letters, and the spelling out of the spelling out, which uses 28 letters, and the 4 additional letters. The sum of these 3 numbers is 42. The 3 kollels for these 3 values plus the kollel for their sum yields the value of the name Adni, 65. 42 plus 4, 46. Adni, Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yud, 1 plus 4 plus 50 plus 10, 65. Okay. It is not clear to me how we arrive at 65 from this calculation, or what the significance of this is in this context.
Read the footnote, please.
Yeah.
On the other hand, 1410 minus 1364 equals 46. It could be that these paragraphs were somehow involved in getting from 1364 to 1410 via 42 plus 3 kollels, and somehow the text got garbled.
Yeah, well,
All right.
At least he's a little bewildered too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that is the first well, ASEC corresponds to the name of Hashem 72. 11. The name of the second well is Sitna, which means adversarial. Of course, they call it harassment. It corresponds to the name of Avaya of 63. In the expanded spelling of the name of 63, there are 3 yuds, not 4. Each yud is 100, plus 63, plus 1 for the kolol, gives us 364, the same as Sitna. Give me a second, folks. Let's go back to the beginning. Number 2. Okay, look at the top line. Hashem's name of 72 is spelled, and it shows yud and how it's spelled. Well, for the name of 63, the yud in the middle of the name Vav is replaced with an aleph. So Vav is spelled Vav, Aleph, Vav. There are only 3 yuds altogether, not 4. Okay, where were we? In 11. Okay, Gershon, continue.
Okay. The mystical significance of the second well, Sitna, is as follows. The yuds are used to spell out the 63 name. The 63 name is Yud, Bab, Dalet, Hey, Yud, Bab, Aleph, Bab, Hey, Yud. Their combined expanded numerical value is 300. If we add to this numerical value of 63 name plus the Kolel, the total is the numerical value of Sitna, 364. 300 plus 63 plus 1, 364. Sitna, Sin, Tet, Nun, Hey. 300 plus 9 plus 50 plus 5, 364.
Okay, one moment. 12. Okay, here is a lot of this. So this is not clear beyond this. Here's something that we could relate to. I meant to do a diagram. Okay, I meant to draw a diagram. There are different ways to view the letter Aleph, the shape of the letter. One way is that there is a Yud at the top right, a Vav diagonal, and an inverted Dalid at the lower left. We can look at it that there's a Yud at the bottom left, an inverted Yud, or an inverted Dalid. Bottom left is more prominent than the top right. So these 3 letters, Yud, Vav, Dalid, for the word, form the word Yud. These 3 letters, Yud, Vav, Dalid, form the word Yud. While the letter Aleph is 1, and sometimes 1,000, the expanded spelling of Aleph is 111. Aleph 1, Lamed 30, Pei 80. 80, 30, and 1 is 111. Since there are 3 Yuds, the total is 33.
333.
333. Thide, thide, and thide.
Yeah.
Add 30 for the 3 Yuds, 1 for the Kolol, and we have 364, the same as Sitna. Okay, I know that was a lot to wrap your mind around. So I wisely added to recap. To recap, we started with 3 Yuds in the name of 63. We changed the Yuds to expanded spelling, Yud, Vav, Dalid. We rearranged the 3 letters to form the letter Aleph. We expanded the Aleph and used its gematria of 111. So even though everyone knows Yud equals 10, it can also equal 111 through many substitutions. Guys, I talked about being contrived. This is not one of those things.
No.
No, this is not. The other things are confusing. You're throwing in a kolol, you're taking out a kolol. This is very legit. Okay, you're making a connection between the Yud and the Aleph. Think, Aleph is number 1. Aleph stands for Hashem. Aleph is the first letter of the 10 commandments. Yud is the first letter of Hashem's name. It equals 10, which is a completeness of Yud. And Yud also stands for the 10 commandments. So here we find a I'm going to say legit and solid connection between the letter Yud and the letter Aleph. It is through many steps. It is through substitutions. We're using a number of expanded spellings. But in this case, the Yud can, we change the Yud into an Aleph, and the gematria of the expanded Aleph is 111. So Yud can be 111.
And 10 Sifrot.
Yeah, of course, everything at 10 is.
Yeah.
So what we have here is 3 Yuds gives us 333.
Mhm.
Then we're going to add another 30 for the 3 Yuds, 1 for the Kolel. We have 364. Same as Sukkah. Okay, that is a bit of a stretch because we're counting the Yuds twice. You're counting them once as 111 and once as 10.
Mhm.
Okay. Gershon, you've been reading?
Yes. So where the heck are we?
149, page 149 again.
To the end. Again, consider the 3 Yuds, each of which, when spelled out, forms an Aleph. The Yud is spelled out Yud Vav Dalet. These 3 letters can be seen graphically as the form of the letter Aleph. The Yud is the upper arm of the Aleph, the Vav is the diagonal bar of the Aleph, and the Dalet, inverted, is the lower arm of the Aleph. Thus, we thus have 3 Alephs, the combined numerical value of which, when spelled out, is 333, to which we must add 30 and the Kolel to reach 364. When the letter Aleph is spelled out, we have Aleph Lamed Pei, 1 plus 30 plus 60 plus 80, 111. 3 times 111, 333, plus 30, plus 1, 364. Presumably, the required extra 30 in these calculations come from the values of the 3 Yuds.
Okay, thank you.
Oy.
Okay, so like I said, there's a lot of stretches here. There's one solid thing that you can take is think how you change and transform a Yud into an Aleph.
From there, it's a little stretchy.
Huh?
From there, it's a little stretchy.
Yeah, but then Yud can equal 111.
That's okay, but beyond that is where it stretches a
Right.
little.
No, I'm saying if there's something, a good piece that you can keep in mind after we finish tonight, this is something to keep in mind. We'll see how that works. Number 13, the next line, and I am not following it. To me, it seems to repeat what was said before. It says the 3 Yuds equal 300. Add 63 plus 1 for the Kolel equals 364. The 3 Yuds. Okay. So here they take the 3 Yuds as 100 each. Over there, we took them as 333 each. The 3 Yuds
111 each.
111 each. Right. The 3 Yuds stand for 3 Alephs, like we said, which stand for Hashem's name, Ekia, Aleph Hey Yud Hey. It's not clear why this line is included with the 3 Alephs that stand for Hashem's name, Ekia, and Ekia equals 21, just for whatever that's worth. Okay, so go ahead again. Again, consider in the middle of the page.
Again, consider the 3 Yuds, this time each subdivided into 10. Their combined expanded numerical value is 300. They are 3 Alephs, which in turn signify 3 names Ekie. When the combined expanded numerical value of the 3 Yuds is combined with the numerical value of the 63 name plus the Kolel, the sum is 364. 300 plus 63 plus 1, 364. It is not clear to me why the 3 Alephs, which allude to the 3 names Ekie, are mentioned in this calculation. We now turn to the third spelling out of the name Havaya, the 45 name, which is going to be equated with the phrase, a well of fresh spring water, used to describe the first well, Asaph.
Okay, 1 minute. So in the last one, number 12, the 333, each yud was 111. So it was 333 plus 30 plus 1 equals
364.
364. And in this one, we're saying 300
Plus 63
plus
plus 1.
Plus
63
63.
plus 1.
plus
Oh,
1
Plus 1.
equals.
well.
Okay, so it's a little
360.
different. It's a little different calculation. And it's a little, yeah, it's a little different. Maybe we could take out that line. 14. Now we're going to the third one. So we did so far the name, the first well, Asek, which is the name of 72. The second well, which is Sitna, which is for 60, the name of Hashem 63. Next, we're going to, in the beginning, the well of living water. And that goes for 45. Remember, guys, 45 stands for Ze'er Anpin,
Mhm.
not for Nukva. The expanded name of 45 has 3 aleph. Yud, and this is how it's spelled, guys. Yud is the same, but Hey is Hey Aleph, Vav is Vav Aleph Vav, and Hey is Hey Aleph. There are 3 alephs here. The expanded spelling of the letter Aleph is 111, like we just said. 3 alephs then equals 333. Only here they're actual alephs, not yuds that were transformed into an aleph by the evil witch. Add 45. Okay, add 45 because it's the 45 name. Subtract 3 for 3 alephs. Subtract 10 for 10 letters of expanded spelling, and subtract another 4 for the 4 primary letters, which looks like this: 333 plus 45 minus 3 minus 10 minus 4. We get 361. The passage in the Torah, it's like opening your car door and looking for the change on the floor. But the passage in the Torah, we had one guy in the yeshiva, not here in Long Meadow, in Boston. There's a guy in the yeshiva. Every time he drove back and forth to New York, he'd boast, "I made $2.65. I made $3.15 because he opened the car. He opened the door at every toll booth on the 4 and the 95, and then also at the on the Mass Pike." The passage in the Torah began by saying that Yitzchak's servants dug and found the well of living water. A well of living water is Be'er Mayim Chayim, which is 2. Be'er is 2 plus 1 plus 200. Mayim is 40 plus 10 plus 40. Chayim is 8 plus 10 plus 10 plus 40. So Be'er is 203. Mayim is 90. And Chayim is 68, gives us 361. And that is that's the name of 45. That matches name of 45, 361. Okay, Avigail, would you like to continue? 149 at the bottom, the 3 olives.
The 3 alephs used to spell out the 45 name possess the numerical value of 333, as above with the graphically produced alephs of the 63 name. To this, we must add 28 in order to get to 361, as will be seen. We arrive at 28 as follows. Take the value of the 45 name, subtract it from the 3 alephs. This leaves 42. Subtract further the 10 letters used to spell out the name and the 4 original letters. This leaves 28. Add 28 to 333. This gives 361. This is the numerical value of the words for a well of fresh spring water plus the kollel.
Okay, 1 minute, 2 minutes. Number 1, I did the same math. I just did it in a different order. I think mine was easier to follow. When we add the 45, then you subtract 3, subtract 10, and subtract 4. Secondly, there's a mistake here in the book, page 150. It's not with the kollel. the first line, Be'er, should be 203. Okay, Abigail, you could continue. The words in Hebrew.
Okay, so the words in Hebrew for a well of fresh spring water are Be'er Mayim Chaim. Be'er is Bays Olive Resh, 2 plus 1 plus 200, so it's 3 plus 1, is that right? Plus
2 plus
200.
1.
2 plus 1 plus 200 is 203.
Yeah, duh. Okay. That's math I should have been able to do. Mayim is Mem Yud Mem, 40 plus 10 plus 40 plus equals 90. Chaim is Het Yud Yud Mem, 8 plus 10 plus 10 plus 40 equals 68. 203
Mhm.
plus 90 plus 68 equals 360.
61.
361.
361, which is the well of fresh spring water.
Right.
There's no cola over there.
Okay. Again,
Okay. So
okay.
the one, how do you like that? The one math that works out perfectly, they mess up the math.
They mess up and put a cola over it. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, this is why I'm not a
15.
doctor, because I can't do physics,
What?
right? This is what physics felt like to me.
This is not
Okay.
physics.
This chapter is how physics felt.
15, I think. Another way to connect a well of living water with the name of 45, the
Mhm.
3 segments of each of the 3 olives in the expanded spelling are rearranged to form yuds. Before we went from yud to aleph. Here we're going
Now
from
we're going
aleph
on.
to yud.
Mhm.
We're changing the aleph to yuds. The 3 yuds are 300. This leaves 6 letters in the expanded spelling. Apparently, we've removed the 1 yud and 3 olives. Each letter is viewed as 10, which makes 60. Add 1 for the kolol, and we have 361. Okay, we can review that afterwards. Abigail, go ahead again till the bottom of the page.
Again, the 3 olives of the 45 name are, through reverse graphics, 3 yuds spelled out. Here we split the olive into its graphical components, a yud, a vav, and a dalet, and combine these to spell the word yud. The combined expanded numerical value of these 3 yuds is 300. This leaves 6 other letters in the 45 name, since we have just distributed the original yud. Presumably, this means we have used the value of the yud
Not hearing. Hello?
Are you saying anything?
So something is
divide.
wrong.
We lost you. We didn't.
Abigail,
she's
you
back.
froze on us. You
I
froze
was-
on us. Do
Oh,
it
I'm
again.
sorry. Should I read presumably again?
Yes.
Okay. Presumably, this means we have used the value of the yud 10 to expand the other 3 yuds. All 4 yuds are thus used up, leaving 6 other letters in the first spelling out of the 63 name. The expanded numerical value of 6 is 60. For each letter subdivides into 10, as above. To the 300 and the 60, add the kolel. This gives 361, which is, again, the numerical value of a well of fresh spring water. Up to here is what I found written in the name of one of the masters, i.e. the Arizal's students. That's all I've got.
All there is.
That's all she wrote.
Oh,
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Okay.
Thoughts?
And that's why for many, many years, the official vodka of the Kiddush was 3 olives.
3 olives. I was
3
thinking of
olives.
that. The 3 olives.
And then three coins in the fountain. And this just reminds me of Suzanne has a cousin, first cousin, writes poetry. And I saw one of the books, and when I understand the event behind the poem, I get it. When I don't have a clue what she's talking about, it creates an itch in my head. So that's what this is doing. I remember there was a game, a code, like a word code, where you had to transform one word into another by changing one of the letters. So they call it alchemy. And it was a very silly computer game. So this is, transmutating, a U and an Aleph and getting one number to the other. That's what seems to be the practice. But then again, we didn't see it any other place. That's why at that time, 6 years ago, whenever it was very frustrating, because if this is a practice, we do the same thing to clarify, to expand the Torah, that's great. But this seemed very manipulated in a unique way for this particular parsec or section. So it was a little frustrating 6 years ago. Not to say now, but so that's
But
what
it seems, but it does seem like there's a lot there that's left hanging. It's unfinished. But yes, but also remember the connections exist independent of the numbers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how we're studying. We're believing that the Arizal was spiritually advanced, and he can give us some light into this. That's why we're reading this. Otherwise, it's an interesting crossword puzzle of numbers. And
you said well.
I think the only way that one in our simplistic minds can make sense of all this is to look at it from a metaphysical standpoint, with what these terms signify from a metaphoric standpoint. The well is chesed. The well is life force. It's Hashem showing his connection to the world in multiple different ways, different various permutations in which you can bring God into our existence. I think that's the only way that our little minds can. We're not on the same level as our Arizal. I think what's just being pointed out is that the thread is there. It's for us to weave it together.
So the first two wells were referring to a side of Gevura, or?
Well, if there's two wells, as I said earlier, Abraham and Yitzchak dug wells. Yaakov didn't, right? And Yaakov, we know, is Tiferes, which is the blending of Chesed and Gevura. And it's from Yaakov that Bnei Israel was derived. But had to dig that well really, really deep in order for Yaakov to become who he was. So I think there's a lot of what's the word? I forgot the word. There's a lot of pieces.
I was going to say, so if the digging of the wells is to put together, to connect Zer Anpin and Nukva, the obvious question is what was going on before they dug the wells in creation? I mean, we definitely had a flow that came all the way down, or did we not?
Well, creation is all about a flow, right? I mean, it's a continuum. It's constant.
Without but it was. We've had this in other places. Basically, it was on autopilot.
Okay.
Like we learned before that from time until the time of Abraham, the interaction was what we refer to as either as back to back.
Fumbling, I think. The energy was not flowing properly. However we look at it, the energy starts flowing with Abraham through Chesed, and gets defined and internalized and deepened through Isaac, through his extension and concretizing in a way the flow, so that it can be, so it isn't all over the place. So I see it as a combination of the Chesed and the Gevura in a deeper sense to get to the Tiferet, which Rudy was talking about. Isaac was he was solitary. He worked on himself internally in the same way he worked on wells deeply, to search deeply and to define and take that chesed and make it into a beautiful coupling, which is what he did with Rivka when they were on opposite sides of that room praying for a child. And so it is chesed, but it's also it's the 5 states of Gevurah too. It's got both, and Isaac has that Gevurah sensibility that takes chesed and brings it to a place of definition and I don't want to say limitation, definition that to make it exist in this world. And that's what a well is. A well is a deepening of a place, and it finds in that almost darkness, it finds water, it finds a flow, and it finds. I could think of water as like Torah. It finds something that's extremely deep, and but it has to work on itself.
There's
Work.
There's also another aspect. If we take the air and we juxtapose the letters, we have Bara, creation, and we know that Chaim is the Torah. Chaim also signifies Hashem, right?
Yeah.
Hashem bara Mayim Chaim. God created the Torah. I think you have to look at it not from the surface level. You have to dig very deep, and that's what Hashem is trying to show here. It's all about allegory. It's all about metaphor.
And we are doing the digging. That's part of what we're talking about. This is part of the bringing it into that clarity.
Another thing that we have to keep in mind is that the forefathers and our foremothers, yes, we believe that they existed, right? But we weren't there. We weren't there. We don't know how they lived. It's based upon what we learned, right? So if you take the persona away and you look at it from a symbolic standpoint, the individuals in the Torah become metaphors for how we're supposed to conduct our lives. And again, I think that's another way of looking at this. And the Arizal is just showing all the interconnected permutations, no matter how random it might appear. And when you say, we're stretching and this, that, and the other, no, it's not stretching. It's there. It's there. You just have to see it. You have to be able to find it, be able to see it. It's the
and you can also, the process of what was going on there does exemplify contention and adversarialness. It's that almost painful way of looking at it. And you can sense the contention, you can sense the adversarialness in the process, in the exercise of the gematria and all of the processes that we were going through. We could feel those process. Why was it contentious? It was being stuffed up with energy by the Philistines or Gerar. It's in the second place too. That was adversarial. So you can sense that in the process of coming to understand the numerical processing of it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Wonderful.
Very good.
Shkoyach Chaim.
Thank you.
Wonderfully done. Great class.
Mazel tov, Rudy.
Mazel tov again.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, Mazel.
Rudy has another grandchild.
Oh my God. How many now, Rudy?
Yoel and
Oh!
Rudy, have you decided whether you like or don't like this granddaughter?
Mazel tov.
Thank you, Faye. It's all good. It's what it's all about. Life is
it's all good. It's all good.
Mazel tov. Okay.
All right,
Bring
everybody.
him to Bris, Sarah, Chubba, Meisim, Tatum.
Amen.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.
Yeah, we'll plan a meeting next week.
Everybody. Thanks for
Okay.
teaching.
Bye-bye.
Thank